It's been a huge week in the presidential campaign, so let's get right to it with our analysts, CNN analysts Jeff Toobin, Gloria Borger, and Fareed Zakaria. They're all part of the best political team on television, and I say that, Fareed, because I really believe it. It has the added advantage of actually being true.
I just wait for you to hear it. It's almost like religion. It's
totally.
If it's Sunday morning, you got to hear that.
All right, let's talk. Let's look ahead to Tuesday. This is going to be a big race. Let's take a look at the Democratic side first of all, and I just want to put some numbers up on the screen. The delegates, popular votes are important, but the delegates now all important. On Tuesday, 1,681 delegates on the Democratic side will be at stake. You need 2,025 to be the Democratic presidential nominee in Denver at the convention. And for the Republicans, 1,020 delegates are up for grabs on Tuesday. You need 1,191 to be the Republican nominee at their convention in St. Paul. Are we going to know on the Democratic side, you think, who the nominee will be on Tuesday, or will Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama have to continue fighting after Tuesday?
I think there's actually a good chance they will continue fighting, because the polls now have them nationally within the margin of error. Hillary is still leading, but as you know, that doesn't translate exactly into delegates, because some of them are winner take all, some of them are not. So you could end up with a situation where Hillary has a lead, but the lead is not so commanding that a couple more states wouldn't switch the balance the other way, or Obama takes the lead, but still Hillary could catch up. They're both nationally viable Democratic candidates. First time it has ever happened since the introduction of the primary system.
And you agree that this could go on after Tuesday on the Democratic side?
I agree, because reminder of viewers that these are not winner take all on the Democratic side. It's proportional. And when you look at delegate counts that a lot of people have done who study these things very closely, you see that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton could each wind up with somewhere over 800. And that means they would live to fight another day.
You see, I disagree a little. I think even though the delegates are going to wind up being fairly evenly divided, if one candidate wins 20 out of 22 or 19 out of 22, comes in first in that many states, it's going to be very hard for the other one to continue, even though the delegates will be fairly even. So yes, we're saying the delegates matter a lot, but if Hillary Clinton, who's ahead, wins 20 of 22 primaries, I don't think we're
I agree with you. I agree with you, Jeff. If there's a consistent pattern, in other words, if one person wins 20 of 22,
that's what I mean.
But what if they win 10 each?
Well, then it's by no means over. But I mean, if one does, then it's over.
But I also think, I guess I disagree, because I also think that one thing we've learned in this race is that people haven't been getting bounces out of their victories the way we are used to seeing it. And I think that you could be right, but I could be right. I mean, we just don't know, because
only I could be right.
Only,
you can't be
right. But if we're putting up on the screen, she gets 80 delegates and he gets 85 delegates somewhere, that's the race that people are really going to be paying attention to, because everybody's counting.
It's sort of like, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, come a general election, the popular vote is important, but you know what's really important is the Electoral College, the vote for 270 in the Electoral College. George W. Bush in 2000 had 500,000 more votes, popular votes, than Al Gore did, but guess who became president?
No, he had 500,000 less.
Right. George W. Bush had 500,000.
Lighting up with Gore supporters.
Gore had 500,000, I'll correct the record. Gore had 500,000 more votes than Bush did, but Bush became president because of the Electoral College. Same thing here. We could see a situation where Hillary Clinton potentially could get more popular votes on Tuesday, but Barack Obama could pick up more delegates.
I think Jeff's point is true, which is that the momentum and the public mood would be that the person who, if one of them overwhelmingly won 20 states, the fact that there was, that it was close and that the other one had many delegates probably would not count.
Well, we'll see how we look at it. I want to play a little clip of what Barack Obama said at the debate the other night. Listen to this.
I also want to note that I was friends with Hillary Clinton before we started this campaign. I will be friends with Hillary Clinton after this campaign is over. She has done, we're running a competitive race, but it's because we both love this country and we believe deeply in the issues that are at stake.
Gloria, there was a lot of love there expressed at that debate the other night, and then I asked at the end about the so-called dream ticket, and I've gotten a ton of mail on that, as you can imagine. What is the possibility that if she gets the nomination, she would go to Barack Obama and say, I want you on my ticket?
I think Hillary Clinton, if she gets a nomination, will do whatever she thinks she has to do to win, and maybe Barack Obama could help her. I don't think that if it were reversed, and if Barack Obama were to get the nomination, that he would go anywhere near Hillary Clinton, because I don't believe that in their calculation she would really help him to win, particularly on a ticket that's about change.
I think that's right, although I think I would say it's more likely than you would say that Hillary would ask Barack to be vice president. I think the political appeal of that is great, and also it would say that the old that's right. Well, but I think the old rules are out the window about senators picking governors, geographical balance. Like Al Gore and Bill Clinton were from the same part of the country. George Bush did not pick Dick Cheney because he needed to carry Wyoming. I mean, I just think the old rules are over, and they would be a very appealing ticket
winning.
Together.
That's what vice presidents are about.
And he brings energy, he brings independence, he brings the sense of change and the possibility. I think the important thing to also recognize is the Democratic Party is more united than it probably has been in, 25 years. If you go back, the Democratic Party was riven with geographic differences, class differences, ideological differences. This is a party remarkably unified. In terms of basic policy, I mean, they have to struggle to find areas where they're different.
I'll tell you, when we were preparing for the debate the other night among the Democratic presidential candidates, we were struggling to find out precisely how different their positions were on a lot of the most sensitive issues. Differences on style, differences on their history, experience, and all that. But when it came to actual policy, we found differences, but the difference
that healthcare difference is being exaggerated in which way they get to universal health care. Hillary does it with a mandate, Barack does it with incentives, but I mean, you would think it's some enormous difference, whereas in fact they differ with the Republicans entirely. I mean, this is a time when the Republicans and the Democrats look at scores of issues very differently.
And this is a time when the Republican Party is splintered over their potential nominee.